Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 413 at scavengerlife.com.
Yard sales, how do they work?
Yeah, how?
Wouldn't it be funny if that's the kind of podcast we had?
Yard sales, what are they?
Okay, so we all know what yard sales are. That's not what we're talking about. So some people on the forum were mentioning something that sounds like a really good idea. And then I'll give you our take on this. So, we all go out and we scavenge. Auctions, thrift stores, we're getting bags of stuff, carloads of stuff, and then people have death piles. And death piles are like in your home very often. You'll have piles of stuff that you don't want to actually put on eBay because it's not exciting, it's boring, you got too much other stuff, it's low dollar stuff, And so you have this stuff. And what people will talk about is, well, just have a yard sale, and then just get rid of it real easy and you make a lot of money. Has that worked for us?
No.
It has not worked
Never.
for us. Now, I will say, we've only tried it one time.
Do we only have one yard sale?
So we don't have a lot of good data points, but that one time was such an absolute failure.
Yeah.
That it made no sense for us to try it again.
Yeah, why bother?
I mean, so here's the deal. The idea that you can take low dollar items or junk that isn't worth selling on eBay, and that for some reason someone's going to come to your house and pay you a lot of money for it, just is foolish.
They may pay you something for it,
right?
But not very much.
50 cents.
Yeah, I mean,
and people are like, well, it's 50 cents is better than just donating it back to the thrift store. I mean, I get it, but for me, the idea of spending 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., like a full day participating and trying to manage a yard sale is just not worth it, know. And if you sell things that are valuable, that someone would pay you something on the street, well, then I could probably make more on eBay,
right.
I mean, had that been... At your experience, that time we had that...
It was just me.
Yard sale?
I was sitting in the driveway. I was selling some of our stuff. And you know what? I think also I had done it when it just started to get warm.
Quick. So your remembering of it was... you were the only one doing it?
Yeah.
I'm the one that put the signs out.
Yeah, but then I sat in the driveway the whole time and just sat there.
I remember selling something. We only sold 3 things a whole day. I sold one of those things, so I was participating in this.
I don't remember that.
I don't think you have a good memory.
No.
Okay, anyway, so tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was right when it started to get nice out in the springtime. It wasn't hot out. It was a little bit chilly still. And it was just yeah, I think we made $20.
And what kind of stuff were we selling? I think $20 is optimistic.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't know. It was a while. It was so long ago that I'm yeah, we were we're not, yard sale's a joke. I don't have a good story. It was barely memorable.
Great. So, there are people screaming at me right now in my mind. Mm-hmm. Out there in the world, and they're saying this, but one good category of stuff to sell a yard sales is big, bulky stuff that's actually valuable, that's too difficult to sell on eBay because it can't be shipped or, people have to come and pick it up.
Yeah, but the prices aren't as good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I could see that, if people are selling bikes or
well, we've sold that stuff on Craigslist.
Big lawn tools.
I mean, the thing is that's the kind of stuff that I try to sell on Craigslist. It's basically an online yard sale.
Right.
And number one, it takes forever where we live. It takes forever. And my prices, I don't get very good prices for stuff. I'm just $20 for
So I think we're in agreement that for us, yard sales don't make sense to try and get rid of low dollar junk that we don't want to sell on eBay. And anyone that writes in and says, well, I did a yard sale and I made $700. And I'm like, well, I would want those people to be very specific about what they sell. I'm assuming
Yeah.
that they were selling pretty nice stuff that they could have also sold on eBay.
Yeah.
And maybe have made more.
It's like those yard sales. We always joke about these yard sales, and I'm sure people make a good living selling these things, but we're like, all I see is VHS tapes and baby clothes.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
I'm not. And plus, those yard sales are like every single weekend they're out there, you know, and
perma sales.
And you're just like, you know, they are scraping it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, yard sales are where we go to buy our inventory to make a lot of money on eBay. Because I think for a lot of people, a yard sales is just the easier thing.
Just get rid of it.
They don't have to list. They don't have to photograph. So they're basically just giving stuff away.
Yeah.
And that's the way I see it.
Right.
Okay. See, that was it.
Yard sales.
That was my whole topic.
Yard sales. We don't like them.
Okay. Before we go on to like our week of eBay, Ryan wanted to make an announcement.
Yes. So a bunch of people had been emailing us lately, like, oh, we missed Shampoo and Booze, the podcast. And we haven't done that podcast in a long time.
Tell me about the podcast. So what is it about? Airbnb.
It's about Airbnb. It's about short-term rentals.
Right.
And I restarted the podcast with my sister as a co-host.
Yep.
I was like, Jay, back off.
Take the bench. Get on the bench.
Right. So the thing about the podcast is, so Ashley, my sister, is also an Airbnb like super host. So she has that experience as well. So we're restarting it. We're also doing like design and advice services for pretty cheap. And, you know, that's something that we're trying to offer people who are trying to get started or people who have already gotten started and want help redesigning their space.
Yeah, your sister, she fairly recently stopped working at her like full-time job that she'd had for a long time. So she's trying to be like independent person now. So she's doing Airbnb, she's doing freelance work, and she thought that the two of you could kind of do kind of some side
design work for people doing short-term rentals.
So this is from the things I've heard you guys talk about, this is what it will be. Someone has like a second home or has like a little granny cabin behind their house and they don't know where to start.
Yeah, they're like, what do I do?
Hire you guys for an affordable amount of money and you guys will walk them through taking pictures, what kind of stuff to put in it, give advice.
All that stuff. Okay. So on shampooandbooze.com, you can listen to the latest podcast. There is a link there that says Our Services, and you can see what we're offering. And I think it'll be fun. I had a really good conversation. Cool. We recorded 2 podcasts the other day. I'm going to post another one this week. Yeah. So it should be fun.
It's and she's a very energetic, cool person. So
yeah. So it's kind of nice to like do a podcast with somebody else. Yeah. I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool.
I do not take any offense. I haven't even heard it yet, so I can't wait to hear
my gosh, you haven't even listened? No, it's fine. So shampooandbooze.com. We're back. You can find us on YouTube or on our blog as well. Yay.
Okay, back to eBay. This week, I think this is a segment we've had before, but it's called the I Was Wrong segment. I was wrong a week ago, and people were very happy to tell me, which is fine. Yes. So we were talking about, you can print your labels on eBay. I think that's kind of the normal expected thing.
Your shipping labels.
But there's actually all these other services outside of eBay that you can print a label on.
Right. And most of them you have to pay for.
I'm always like, why are people doing that? But there's all kinds of reasons for it. But one that's just popped up in the past a year or so is called Pirate Ship.
And we thought you had to pay for it because why wouldn't you have to?
And I'm not trying to do an ad for them, but I think it's interesting. People were telling me it's absolutely free. I'm like, how
is that possible?
Any site work and not make a dime? So I actually talked to it. I'm not going to mention his name because I'm not sure if he wanted me to talk about this, that he told me all this stuff. But he knows all about these companies. and how they operate.
Okay. This is someone on the forum or just...
Yeah, he's kind of part of the...
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, so the way pirate ship makes profit is they take a piece of the action. So if you pay $1 for a label, they actually only pay like 90 cents.
Okay, so they take a percentage.
And I don't know how big of a percentage they take, but that's how it works.
But so how can it be cheaper than eBay? It can't, I mean...
Well, they do something called that cubic...
Okay.
Shipping,
like
which is
dim weight, right?
Dim weight, and they for some reason get a better deal than eBay.
What?
But I think on first class and stuff like that. And again,
it's just regular.
People are going to be yelling at me because I'm not saying the right thing. But anyway, I don't know. There's different prices, and I was asking. It's my friend. Like, how can pirate ship get a better rate than eBay? I mean, eBay's like they print so many. I mean, can't they just make the post office give them best deal of anybody? Mm-hmm. And he just says, people will just make certain special deals. He says, and he can't confirm this because he doesn't really know either, but eBay may actually be making a profit on postage too. That like, even though we get it cheap, they get it even cheaper.
Maybe they get it even cheaper.
Because the post office will have a minimum that any service can charge.
Right. Like, they probably have a bar that has to go up to.
But I think that's interesting. I never thought that.
And they're charging us 9% on shipping if we charge shipping. Which, you know what?
Feebay over here.
Every time because I looked at my invoices the other day because we were talking about that with the FedEx labels, didn't charge us for like 2 months. And I'm like, 9%, like it's really annoying. So,
and then I asked him about Poshmark because that's also something that just doesn't make sense to me. People are like, man, you can ship like 5 pounds across the country for like, I think it's $6.29 or something like that. And he's like, yeah, I don't know how that works. He says that no one else has anything like that, and he thinks it might be an experiment that the post office is doing. It's with, small, young company.
Maybe.
Just trying to test it out. And he's assuming, like I do, that Poshmark is subsidizing it somehow.
I think Poshmark's subsidizing it with their startup, like, venture capital.
Right.
End of story.
But we have no comfort.
That's my theory, my hypothesis.
Information on that. So anyway, it's just interesting that, people can pick all these different ones. And I get it. Some of these other services could have a better interface. Maybe it's easier to understand. I don't know. And then the end all be all. Some people are very they must have to print their scan form at the end of the day.
The scan form,
and they really want that scan form.
Did we talk about this last week? Did we talk about the scan form?
We did.
Okay, so we're not going to repeat ourselves.
Right, and that eBay doesn't really do it well. So.
Right, eBay is a pain in the butt when it comes to that. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, the other thing with eBay is, speaking of pain in the butt, two-factor authentication.
Oh my God.
We talked about it and we were very impressed. Like, eBay's like improving. Like, hey, if I want to log into eBay on a new computer, I do the password, and then it also sends a note to my phone with the code that I have to put in. The problem is...
This is so crazy.
Is that, eBay... I don't know how it is for other people, but it's for us. eBay kicks us off the site every couple days.
Right.
And it makes us re-sign in. And then it also will then ask for the two-factor authentication.
Every time. Unlike
others... companies like Google or something.
Like, they'll see your IP. They're like, this is your home IP.
Like, once I authenticate my computer, it knows that this computer is safe.
Or it leaves me signed in for like 2 weeks. Like Amazon.
I mean, like my Google Mail.
I was just always signed in. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yep. So, anyway.
So I actually turned it off. I was like, because look, you're signing in on your phone. My helper's signing in the office. I'm signing in on my laptop and my iMac.
Computer, right.
Yeah, like it just. I would be getting texts like all day long. I'm like, this is insane. Right. This makes no sense. Yeah. eBay, please, if you're listening, that's crazy.
A for effort.
F for failure.
It didn't make our life feel safer because then we just end up just approving everything that comes on the phone.
Right.
Because
I'm like, someone's signing in that I approve.
And so if some pirate is doing it, we're disapproving him. Okay. The other thing is send offer to buyers.
Okay.
We're big fans of.
Yeah.
That on the computer now, you can go to your active tab.
And there's like a little filter thing.
And up top, there's a filter that says you can send, 5 offers.
Right. So what's interesting is last night I looked at my phone, and there's also a thing in your like selling tab on your phone, and it's like send offers to buyers. And I'm like, oh, these are totally different offers. Like, I sent 10 offers on my computer, and then it was like, okay, you don't have any more. And then I went on my phone, and there were like 20 more. Totally different offers, which is bizarre. I'm like, why are they? It's fine. I'll send all the offers I can all day long.
That's not a bad thing.
But it's just funny that it's like the phone is looking at completely different information than
it's like it's pulling
desktop.
from some other database.
Yeah, it's really weird. But whatever. I'm like sending offers.
And then I have a feature request. I'm like, I would love it if eBay had one of those filters was like, number of items sold through offers you sent, so we happen to have like a large source, so it's 8,000 items, so we actually are sending a lot of offers like every day.
It's allowing me to send a lot
every
of
day
offers.
we're able to send like 40
twice a day
offers.
I send offers.
It's like 40 offers maybe.
I don't think it's that much,
but it seems significant. I mean,
it's like
quite a few
20, 30.
But we can't always remember which items were the ones that we sent an offer to.
Right.
So we're kind of doing it. We're kind of going to hack it by all the offers is going to be like $10.01.
Right.
Try and just make a weird cent.
So that when it's like accepted .01, I'm like, oh, I sent them that offer.
Right.
Now, the other thing that I noticed too is like I'll remember some of the items and people are allowed to send counter offers. Now, which you're like, yeah, duh. But when you send an offer through a message, if someone's like, hey, would you take $15 for this? And you say reply with offer, they can't counter offer that. If you reply with offer, oh, no, but I'll take 25. And they're like, well, what about 20? They can't counter offer, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because I've done that for buying stuff for myself. And I'm like, they'll send an offer, oh, I'll take, 25. And I'm like, oh, I can't counteroffer. Yeah. So, but they can counteroffer the offers sent from, active page. Yeah. It's just weird. You're like, eBay.
But
why?
But to me, that's because in a message, someone might send us a message and say, hey, did you take $10? And then I'll send them an offer for $10. I don't want them to turn around and then counteroffer for $5. I mean, I'm like, because that's annoying. They're asking for a $10 offer,
and you're replying.
Here's $10.
Yeah,
so
I guess that makes sense.
Fan of that. Good job, guys.
Whatever.
Good job. Okay, and then the other thing, man, all of this eBay stuff.
eBay? Is this a podcast about eBay or what?
eBay, and someone talked about this on its forum. eBay is showing us now promoted items in the sold search.
Yes, I noticed that too. It's really weird that they would do this, and I find it annoying.
Why?
Because I'm like trying to look at solds. I'm like, okay, here's this.
To find out the price.
Yeah, sold, highest price sold, and then there's 2 active listings that are like basically ads,
right.
And I'm like, I'm looking at solds. I don't want to buy it,
right?
But whatever, they want people to buy stuff, so they're showing 2 sponsored active items up top.
To me, that just feels like someone's like, well, let's just throw it on there too, I'm trying to think what like, I'm trying to play it out. Like, why would I be a buyer and I'm going to Solds and I would be interested in buying something from
also,
Solds?
You're like, what, as buyers... Why do buyers look at solds? Now, the reason I've looked at solds is to be like, what's the general... Like, I bought you an Apple Watch a few months ago, and I was like, I want this model.
And I love it.
Yes, and you love it.
It was cheap.
It was pretty cheap, yeah. And I was like, okay, how much is this average? What's the high price? What's the low price? What's the middle that I can expect to pay? Like, what is the possibility? Right. So that's an example, but I'm like... do people do that, or is that just me? Because I'm a seller,
right.
I have no idea.
That's interesting. Anyway, that's just...
Okay, anyway, we're bored. Let's move on.
Okay, gut reaction to the week.
We sold some medium to high dollar items. Oh, we sold a very high dollar item.
We'll
but besides that, I would say it's pretty high.
Yeah.
Minus that high dollar item, we can see how much it was.
It was a decent week. We sold... Honestly, so a week ago we sold like 79 items.
Yeah, it was like
this week we sold 42, so we sold about half as many. But yeah, they were a little higher dollar items. Yeah. They weren't like all $12 and $15.
No, they were like 50 to 100 and some,
you know, 20 and 30 and 40. You know,
yeah, so higher.
So we ended up we grossed $2,500.
Is that with the high dollar item?
That's right.
Okay, that's really sad.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, because the high dollar item was...
So we would have made $1,500, but we sold, and we'll go straight to it now, we sold one item...
For $1,000.
For $1,000. Which for us is huge.
It's huge. That's a
we
huge
do not
sale.
sell...
No.
That, I mean, we don't...
Never.
We don't even... It's never, but it's rare. I mean...
When's the last time we sold $1,000 item?
I mean, it's more than never.
Okay, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really even have a lot of $1,000 items for sale.
Right, that's true.
You know, and that's why I'm always like, let's put more expensive items in our store, you know?
Let's find them.
Yeah, so we had bought this building, old building, very bad shape, and I was standing behind it with this guy, this contractor, and we were just talking about the building, and he's like, "Hey, look, there's a sign on the ground," and it was kind of like shoved under the building, under all this gunk, and I pulled it out, and it's like one of these old, like
1920s,
yeah, like enamel sign
for Columbia Records, like. And we're talking Columbia Records when they were like making wax discs,
a gramophone,
like
probably more like 78s. Like,
yeah, like just not like the Columbia Records that have
crank.
Like super old.
And the guy who had owned the building a long time ago, he had actually painted his sign on it.
On top of it.
It was a shoe shop.
It said shoe shop. So it's just so funny. He basically recycled the sign, but it was so long ago that most of the paint was gone, but you could still kind of see a ghost of the old sign. So in theory, someone could, gently clean that paint off, and it could be
the enamel
nice.
Underneath was still
in great shape. Good. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So it's Ryan, who is really good at this. She put it up for what, 20 something thousand,
2,800.
Yep.
Only because look, one had sold in pristine, perfect condition for about that much. And mine wasn't in pristine condition, but mine was the only one that you could buy. Right. That was original.
And so it's been up for what, 3 months?
A few months, yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, and this one guy started to send us
several messages.
And he would be like, give you $500 sight unseen. If you want more, I need to come to your house and look at it.
And we were just like, no.
And then he was like, $700, and then we just kind of ghosted him, and then he finally came back a day ago.
Well, he was like, give me your lowest offer, and I was like $1,200. Right. And he's like, I'll do it for $1,000, and I won't come inspect it, and you can just ship it to me. I was like, great. So I'll take $1,000. We found it.
Yeah, it's good. So it was a good thing. So that it made our week.
It hasn't gotten to him yet, but I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. So it's good. Yeah. I mean, we do not sell $1,000 items often. I mean, probably I can count on my hands and toes a number of times.
I think on your hand.
On one hand, you think
$1,000 plus.
Yeah,
I can think of like just a few things that we sold for that much. Like,
you know what? Next week I'll
name them.
I'm gonna make a note. I'm gonna see if I can't count.
Okay.
The number of items.
I can count like 5
that we have sold for over $1,000.
I can count like 5.
Its number gets bigger, people. Okay. Things we sold. The sign. We sold a sheepskin coat.
For $200?
It's June. It's hot. Someone bought a winter sheepskin
Someone in
coat.
California, Southern California.
For $200. Great.
Love it.
I am so paranoid. It's like I have PTSD that this guy's going to get it.
And be like,
and
return.
We're going to see a return.
Item not described.
And he's going to say It's your fault because there's a thread that's pulled. I'm just so...
Yeah.
We have not been
We just
having...
can't... I mean, you just can't...
With clothes, I feel we've been getting more returns than I like, you know.
Shrug.
And someone on its forum actually had been talking about how when you start to sell higher dollar clothes, you know, like if it's a $30 return, I'm
You're like,
who cares?
you know.
Big deal. Like, I'm a big man about that. But like when you start to sell higher dollar clothes, those like $200 returns are painful.
They are super painful.
So painful.
Yeah.
You sold a graphing calculator.
We found a box of electronics in the garbage in New York City.
Right, we talked about that.
Okay.
It was like the day before we had
It was
come
pouring
home.
rain. The electronics were wet. They all worked fine.
Well,
dried them off.
They were in garbage bags.
Right.
Like good, thick,
Right.
black garbage bags.
But it still was a little... Anyway. Yeah. Graphing calculator. I sold it for $45 overnight.
Yep,
awesome.
sold in one day.
Yep, I love that.
And so that makes us feel good. And that stuff is being photographed now and will get put up in our store. And I can't wait
It
to
will
see
pay
that
for
stuff
our
sell.
New York trip.
That's
Every meal we had, every grocery we bought will get paid for the garbage we found.
Yeah, I think if you're a scavenger, I think only those people can understand that excitement.
Yeah, you're like, I had a free trip.
That excitement of while as you're enjoying a vacation or enjoying a trip, is you're also like trying to find stuff to scavenge.
Right.
So then you can sell that and basically pay for the good time you're having.
Right.
You know?
It's a great feeling.
It makes it feel good.
Yeah.
It makes those good times even better.
Oh my God. Okay. You're like a dad. It takes
I'm
teamwork.
a cat dad.
You're a cat
I'm
dad.
a cat dad.
You are a cat dad.
Okay, and then I've got to say this for myself because it makes me feel good. I bought a lot of military items online.
Yes. Military liquidation.
It was like $90, $100, $150 or something.
Yeah, the number keeps going up. It was
$200.
120.
We filled up the whole back of the car with all these
stuffed it. I think I had stuff in my lap.
Yeah, with these like wool jackets. I mean, it's cool
trench
stuff.
coats.
So
they've been
I think we
selling.
sold two more of them. So we
we sold
made our
one
money
last
back.
week, and it's the same guy. He's
Really?
bought like 3 of them.
Wow.
So I don't know if he's reselling them. Like he might have a store because we're selling ours for like $24, and he might be selling them for $50.
Like he could be putting them in his actual store,
Right,
like,
which is great.
Yeah.
I'll sell to people like that all day long. So
yeah. So it's definitely. I mean, again, I definitely get attracted to like, I'll just buy all this cool stuff online. It's rarely a quick seller.
It's rarely like a great. But these, I think I'm trying to price these low enough because we have so many. Like I look at the piles and I'm like,
now
$24.
This is like cold weather items.
Yeah,
this kind of stuff does sell in the summertime. It's
still
like a sheepskin coat that's sold. But in the wintertime, I expect these things to sell
move faster. They will.
And then I'll be sad we sold them for $24 each. But right now. Let's just do that.
We've made our money back already.
Yep.
So be happy. We still have piles and piles of them.
Scavenger of the week, Ryan. Do you have anything in mind?
We definitely went shopping. What did we buy? It was just like
I bought
a
creepy doll head.
Yeah, that creepy doll head.
We've talked about this. It's before on the podcast, and people have chimed in.
Weird, creepy doll heads.
Yeah.
That stuff sells.
Yep.
Because there are people making weird art or weird curio cabinets.
And people talk about like...
You know what I mean?
People talk about like having a doll and then in the description you call it... or
haunted.
The title, you say haunted.
And people will write to you, is it really haunted? And you're like, that's not a real thing. But if you want to believe it's haunted, go for it.
But anyway, that's the thing. I mean, I just saw this thing. It's actually like an old doll head because it's on a
piece of
base.
Wood. So what was it for?
I mean, I think
it on a wooden...
I think it goes inside of a doll.
Okay,
I think, but that just happened to be how it was made.
What did I get? Did I get anything that was... I got, oh God, plates and dishes. But like good brands.
She's like
Noritake.
She's a super addict, you know.
Because I'm like, this
You're
is
like, quit buying this stuff.
I'm
I
in
can't stop.
like the junkiest thrift store ever, and this is $1 for like all this gorgeous like Japanese pottery from the...
It sells.
I'm just like,
Look,
I know, it sells.
I encourage it. I think it's
I
great.
bought a bowl last week for like it was a bag sale, and I was like, here's a French porcelain little like sherbet bowl.
Yep.
Sold overnight for $25.
Wow.
I'm like, great, love it. Why? I have no idea.
I love it. Don't feel bad about it.
I know.
We have plenty of space. I will always make room for stuff that will eventually sell.
For dishes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, customer issues. So again, we continue to have this problem. So we sold 42 items.
Yeah.
It would have sold 45, but 3 of them
Unpaid.
were unpaid. So
unpaid or canceled.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about
Please cancel this.
That's 8% of our sales, you know, and these are people that made an offer.
I accept their offer.
And then they just don't pay.
And there are, like we said, some people pay. And then they say cancel it. You're like, oh, what?
Yeah, so we're confused as if something's happening on eBay side that is making this happen more, or maybe we're just in that period where things just happen to pile up.
Well, the other theory I had was these are new people on eBay, because some of them have like a 1 feedback, but then some of them have like 1,000 feedback, and you're like, I don't know.
And that's a hypothesis, by the way.
Sorry, whatever. God dang it.
And I will say this again, just on the off chance there's any eBay person that ever hears this. I think it would be so huge for eBay's bottom line. Don't even think about me as a person that sells on eBay. Don't even think about me. Think about yourself on eBay. You should set up automatic payments when someone makes an offer.
Oh.
Because then eBay will get paid. Because if I get paid, eBay gets paid. These 3 unpaid items, eBay's not going to make a dime off of it, you know?
They do still pull your final value fee before.
But then you get it back.
You get it back,
right?
but it's just funny how they pull it for like a week.
So just, do it for... It's your bottom line because the fourth quarter's coming up and you got to show a profit, Do it.
I don't think it'll ever happen. But.
Okay, and then we're talking about customer issues. This is like the worst case, right?
Yeah.
A negative. I woke up this morning and I saw we got
Here is an example of someone who bought an item, paid for it. I shipped it that morning and they said, please cancel. And I said, I already shipped this. And they go crazy. How could you? I just paid for this 5 minutes ago. No, you paid for this at 11 a.m. And then that shut them up because I was like, it's 5 p.m. now. You paid at 11. I shipped before they got here.
We are inefficient.
I'm like, I did it already. Please cancel, blah, 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 blah. It gets to them and they're like, this doesn't work for me.
Well, the reason why he wanted to cancel was he says, this piece of software isn't going to work. I mean, he's basically admitting, I bought the wrong piece of software.
I bought the wrong thing. Right, so fine. Okay, let's just move on here. So he opens a return case and says whatever. I forget why.
He says the item is defective. You know that we sent him the wrong thing.
You're like, whatever.
So he's saying we did something wrong when he just made the wrong choice.
So I give him a refund. I don't refund him his original shipping because I'm like, this is not incorrect. You just bought the wrong thing. So he gives us a negative. And then I call this morning and I'm like, I accepted a return. I didn't give them their full whatever. I have free returns. And they're like, yep, you're covered. Cool. Literally 1 minute phone call. Awesome. It was like, okay, thanks, bye.
So they didn't have to go and read all the...
He was like, I see... They must be changing something because he's like, I see this is... whatever, it can be removed. It qualifies to be removed.
So did it? So did it feel like because we had free returns?
Yes, that's why.
That he was giving us the benefit of the doubt.
I think there's that, and there's also that I took his return. I was like, I accepted his return. I refunded his money. Of course, it was a partial refund because he didn't get his original shipping back. But I'm allowed to do that because I have free returns.
Yeah.
And you can, like, read the whole thing.
This is when I know
ridiculous.
if you go online, especially on the eBay, it's forums, people go crazy about this, about, like, you know, the injustice of it all. And just, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, it's so unjust. And really, if I was a big shot, I would just be like, give him all of his, you know, it's money. It doesn't happen often. Just pay him off.
But it does happen often. It happens enough that you're like, I'm not giving you like $40 for free. Like, that's not. Anyway, this is boring. Another customer issue was I shipped a bunch of like delicate pottery.
Yeah.
So it was like a cruette set that was. I shipped it all in one box. I literally triple boxed everything. 3 of these like beer stein things broke.
Because there are 5 of them.
I mean, there were 5 of them.
I think,
I'm like, how did that happen?
Because so we're going to do some business right here live, okay?
Okay.
My opinion is, if somebody buys a large set, like a multiple pieces, don't combine them. Because I feel like trying to get all of that into one box is just not, like, I feel like there's only so much you can put into a double box before then. It might have been double boxed, so everything's safe here, but the stuff inside, there's so much in there. It's all like banging around.
It shouldn't have broken. But anyway, so I refunded them. I did a partial refund for the 3 items, and they accepted that.
$60.
Because it was $20 a mug. He paid $100 for 5 mugs.
I know.
But I had insurance, so I'm doing an insurance claim. Okay. So I'm like, these were broken.
So how long does it take to find out?
It just depends.
Tell me.
It just, look, I did the paperwork, whatever, like...
So live on the air here.
Like 2 weeks.
Do you think that's a good idea that we don't ship?
Yes, I think you're right. I think you're right. I should have done the mugs by themselves, and they were double boxed.
How about corporate policy? If there's more than 5 delicate items, we have to do 2 boxes.
It has to.
And,
I mean, they paid enough for shipping. I mean, he paid
and
for
we
it.
can tell the person that that's what's going to happen.
I know, I should have. I was trying to be more efficient, and it backfired.
It's okay.
So that was an issue. That was my own fault, I guess.
We learn.
It stinks.
It's no one's fault. Okay, things we learned in the forum. Winchester 38, who's a longtime member of the its forum. He's up in Canada.
Yeah.
He's in a big change of his life.
Yeah.
And he's been documenting his process over the past 6 months or so.
Moving to the country.
So, like, he quit his job.
Yep.
And him and his wife are moving across Canada.
His wife is changing her job.
Right. And they just bought a new home, and so they packed up their whole eBay store, put their store on vacation.
I don't think they bought a home yet. I think they're going to go look for one.
Yeah, and so, but they're wherever their temporary home right now.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, you know, he's just using the thread, and then he's also going full-time eBay. So
yeah. That's huge. I know.
Changes, you know, happening at one time. So I wish him luck.
I'm happy when people update us, because I'm always like, remember to update us, guys.
I also like to hear when people, you know, make these big changes and they're thoughtful about it, and I think I'm hoping that explaining to other people and to people like us who understand to like have to verbally or to write it out in text, that it helps them, helps them see that what they're doing isn't crazy. Because you know, for some people, if you were to tell that story to somebody,
they'd be like, "What?"
They'd be like, "What are you doing? Like, that's insane."
Yeah,
you know,
that's what
insane.
That's just. It's ludicrous mode.
Yep. And then someone else on the forum was talking about how they wished that they had such great auctions in their area like we have.
Oh, boy.
Because we talk about all these great auctions.
That we never go to.
Well, I wanted to like put that in perspective. I mean, I think every area of the country probably has its different kinds of cool scavenging. Like where we are, estate sales are...
They don't exist where we live. I mean, you go to the city, they're there, but we don't like to.
We only go to them if we're in a different part of the state, you know. But, you know, at yard sales, they really aren't that great around here. Or they can be good, but because we're in a rural area, you really have to drive a whole lot.
You have to search for them.
And whereas there are people who are in urban areas where yard sales are probably awesome.
You should walk around.
And even for us with auctions, I mean, we of course only talk about the handful of good ones we go to. There's lots of auctions around us, and you really have to go to the ones. Go to all of them and then be like, oh yeah, that's overpriced or that's.
In the last auction we went to, we were there for 8 hours. It was 8 hours, right? It was like all day.
Yeah.
And, we were just, it was pretty grueling.
Yeah. And so I think that, you just have to, and if like an auction isn't good, like if auction is what you're interested in, it's not good in your like general area, sometimes you have to go a little bit farther. Yeah. I mean, we sometimes drive 2 hours to go to a good auction. Right. And that's what you
2 hours one way.
Yeah. Right. 2 hours is one way. Sometimes we'll even stay overnight. So we can get to it. And for anyone that thinks that their area doesn't have anything good to scavenge,
it's not true.
I think you're either not being creative and to find where those places are, or I would move.
Or I would move. We have in the past we have given people that advice where we're like, you can't find anything? Yeah, you should move.
But if you want to make this your life, but I don't know. We've been to lots of different parts of the U.S., and I've never been to an area where we couldn't find something. Where we haven't been able to find without a whole lot of effort.
And that's U.S. specific. We've been to Europe, and we're like, we can't find any. Where's all the stuff? They just like recycle it forever within their family or something. I don't know where the stuff is.
They're, I think, a little more smarter than we are. They're more logical. Okay. Let's go to the
questions that people called in. Let's go to the phones.
Hello, this is Eric in South Carolina, and I had a question about selling a new item on eBay. I have found a pair of shoes that have never been worn or came across or received a pair of shoes that have never been worn. So I'm going to sell them as new without box. They're pretty expensive shoes. They're Alden, and I think MSRP was like $500. But if I sell them and they get returned, but the person has worn them and it may be obvious that they wore them for a couple of days and now the bottom is not perfect like it is right now, do I have any recourse? Or do I just have to say, okay, that's just the way eBay works. If the customer says it's not the right fit or I don't know how it's described and it comes back and I can't sell it as brand new anymore or new without box, is that just the way it is? I did call eBay customer service, and it basically just told me, yeah, that's the way it is. I said, okay, well, what if, in this case, it's new without box, but what if it was a brand new in package, a more commoditized type item that I was selling, like a phone case, it was brand new in package. They opened the plastic, cut it open, and used it, said, didn't fit, item not as described or whatever, sent it back. Do I just have to take it and just suck it up and say, okay, well, they said item not as described or it didn't fit, even though now they've cut the package open and it's not, I can't sell it again, it's brand new. And the guy basically just said, yeah, that's just the way it is. Just wanted to see if you folks had any other information that could bring some clarity to that, whether y'all heard the same thing, whether y'all experienced the same thing. I know y'all sell a lot of new items and brand new items or new in box, but I don't think you do. But anyway, if you could give me some advice on that, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, so yeah, this is the conundrum when any of us are selling brand new items.
Yep.
Whether it's clothes or if you're selling, whatever, some new in package item. Yeah, what happens if a person gets it, opens it, and they can legally send it back to you or whatever, it's by the eBay rules. Now eBay used to have, I don't know if they still do, they had a restocking fee at one point,
right? So I'm gonna tell you something about this.
Tell me about it.
Number one, if you have those super expensive shoes, you can do a couple things. You can turn off returns
on that one item,
but that means if they say they don't fit, they can't return them. You can decline that.
Right.
If they say item not as described, these are not a size 10, blah, 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 they'll be able to return it, even if they're lying.
Right.
But if you have returns open and you have free returns on, you can take a percentage off.
Is there a percent? Like how much is it? Just I think that there's
a drop down that goes up to like 50%.
Wow.
So if you had this is what I understand. If you have free returns on for that high dollar item, which sucks, you kind of don't want to do that. You're like, I don't want anyone to return it. But if they do, you can say, I'm taking a restocking fee, and I'm pretty sure eBay will back you up on that.
Now, I have heard that because they don't say, how many times that can happen, but it sounds like if you were to abuse that, eBay would do something about it.
As a buyer.
As a seller. No.
So, if you were to abuse, every return you're taking 40%, off, right. I'm just blatantly.
But, in this case, if he's worried about this one item, it would probably be okay.
I wonder if also, if you had free returns on, if you said in your listing, if these are returned in other than new condition, I'm taking a restocking fee, and then you just
that'd be a great.
You know what
idea.
I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, that was in my listing. Yeah. I'm not really sure if that's legit, but
I'm going to wrap this up with a good thought.
Okay.
I think he should go ahead and list them.
Yeah.
And feel good about it.
Right. Be confident.
Sell them and feel good that they're going to get bought and someone will just enjoy them. Instead of a live-in...
The fear. But if not, we've prepared you for what you can do. Yeah. You have options.
We got your back.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for the podcast this week. I just want to remind everyone that I did restart Shampoo and Booze. So you can go to shampooandbooze.com and listen to the newest episode with my sister, Ashley. And you can check out our design services on that blog. Okay, you can check out scavengerlife.com for the links we discussed and to join the conversation on the forum. You can leave a question or a comment on our voicemail line, as you heard. The phone number is 540-407-8486, or you can email us an audio file from your phone. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com. We post an episode every Monday morning. On Wednesday, we post Stephen Schultz What Sells videos. You can subscribe to our Patreon account on our sidebar to support us for as little as $5 a month. You can subscribe to us for free through iTunes or YouTube so you always get the latest episode. We are ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1. Bye.